This agenda is only controversial among the radical left. That would be the entire Democratic Party. The size of government has been shrinking under Trump. Trump is also now threatening to remove the tax-exempt status from Harvard.
Let's hop right into a Fox News segment with Sean Hannity hopelessly attempting to make the failure of a first 100 Trump days look good. They're selling you poop as, a shiny new object. So take a moment if you can, leave us a like. It helps the video out. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back with some much needed fact checks.
Today, after weeks of doom and gloom about the economy from the legacy media mob, job growth shattered all expectations. Now, this is the second month in a row that the jobs report outpaced economic forecasts. Keep in mind, these are all private sector gains. The size of government has been shrinking under Trump, yet the labor participation rate is up, wages are up, costs are down. Gas and energy prices are at their lowest point in years. And now, according to Gallup, fewer Americans are worried about inflation. The doom, the gloom, predictions surrounding Donald Trump's trade negotiations, they were all bogus.
I love the carefully worded way that they have to go about these segments because, well, they've been sued for lying for Trump before, the largest defamation lawsuit in American history, so they don't want to do it again. Job numbers did outperform expectations, but only because expectations were literally rock bottom because of the chaotic barreling towards a recession Trump has done with his tariffs. The job numbers are still down 10,000 from just the month before, down 100,000 from Biden's April numbers just this time last year, 10,000 lower than the 2024 average for job creation, and 80,000 lower from the last Biden month of his jobs numbers from where he handed it over to Trump, seeing that they're clearly declining under Trump. A large part of that is because of Trump's economic policy. Also, the consumer price index is up. The economy is officially in negative economic growth, with the inflationary effects expected to begin to show now this month, like in May, just now are expected to really kick in full force. Economists are predicting recession as high as 90% likely. That'll hurt things like jobs, like wages, like prices, all of this. But I'm glad that Hannity is admitting that this chaos is happening while Trump is making the government smaller. So we all know who to blame once this failure is complete and it's small government.
Late last night, the president signed an executive order to strip all federal funding from NPR and PBS. Of course, these far-left outlets, they can continue to function just without your money. President Trump is also now threatening to remove the tax-exempt status from Harvard for failing to comply with basic civil rights amid rampant racial and religious discrimination on campus. This brings us to another bogus smear campaign from the left. According to Democrats, there is deep regret among Trump voters, but for some reason, the state-run legacy media mob just can't seem to find anyone in real life who actually regrets their vote.
At this point, you would have to be ignoring reality, just objective reality to say that, which we know Fox News, Sean Hannity, anyone who watches it is. Trump, in a state that he won by, a sizable amount in this 2024 election, then elected a Democrat not 60 days after because of the failure he had provided just 2 months in. 2 plus 30 Trump districts were cut in half. Districts with that much support for a party or a candidate typically don't see that large of a swing after just 60 days. We know MAGA isn't shifting. That's not what we're saying. Like, you would defend Trump on anything if you're in MAGA. We get it. If you defend Trump after 34 felonies, after rape, after defaming the victim that he raped, you will defend him no matter what. We get that. Trust me. What we're talking about is independents, people who are based in reality, but may have voted for him for economic change, immigration, whatever it may be, but they still exist outside of the cult. Also, I love that Fox News is highlighting Trump's attack on free speech as a win after crying about free speech for the last 3 to 4 years as if censorship was the Democrats, but now it's a win, right? I will say it again, right? These clowns are the ultimate cry bullies. They both want to have their boots on your neck, but then they want your sympathy and empathy when they lose or mess up and, feel like they're the victim.
This agenda is only controversial among the radical left. That would be the entire Democratic Party. And now, after getting blown out in 2024, Democrats are just doubling down on their extreme positions. Just listen to who Kamala Harris decided to praise during her late-night rant. Take a look.
Leaders across the spectrum, including congressional leaders like Cory Booker, Chris Van Hollen, Chris Murphy, Jasmine Crockett, Maxwell Frost, AOC, and Bernie Sanders. with moral clarity.
I mean, she's cooking here. I wonder why Fox News would show that objectively strong clip of Kamala talking. But I love this Democrats got blown out and America rejects them in their agenda kind of narrative that MAGA is hopelessly trying to push. It's not really sticking, so you don't see it in the mainstream as much. But, you know, it randomly comes up like here with Hannity. And it fails for two reasons. One, they're like the basketball team that hasn't won a game all season. They're doing terrible, right? They're the Pistons last year. And in this last game, they finally catch a win and they start acting like now they're the champions, even though they're not going to make the playoffs. Democrats overperformed in 2018. They won in a landslide in 2020. Overperformed in 2022. Won a clean sweep of special elections in 2023 and every ballot referendum as well. And then we lost in 2024, which was an unprecedented nature of an election, which we'll get into. And Republicans are like, well, yeah, now we're the greatest. And now everybody hates Democrats because we've won once in the last 3 election cycles. And that's with the context here of Trump running a 3-year-long campaign, the traditional, even kind of longer than what would be traditional because he had ran before. So like a 3-year-long campaign to run against someone who was the first person ever to run on just 3 months, where Trump still only got 1% more of the vote, like 1.5%, 2 million more votes is what that equates to, couldn't even win the popular vote, and most swing states were decided by 1% to 2%. In what world is that a landslide? In what world is that something to brag about? This is like an 8-year veteran fighter who is the heavyweight champion, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, going into a fight that he's trained months for. The night before, the person he's going to fight gets injured. So a random person steps in on a whim. They just want the paycheck. They step in. They have one night to prepare against this heavyweight champion who's won the title before, who's been training for months. And the champion then only wins by 1 round, but is like, see, I told you I'm the greatest. Like, what are we doing here?